Friends, how's it going? I want to talk about my TikTok journey in this video. Basically, just to say why I did it in the first place, some of the things that I learned about going live, some of the things that worked, some of the things that absolutely didn't. But at the end of the day, to kind of say, hey, these are my results. And if I can do it, you can do it too. So don't be afraid of going on camera and showing up and just allowing magic to unfurl by allowing new people to find you. So let's begin with the story. Why did I even start TikTok Live in the first place? And the truth was, I was dealing with a huge video editing related job. I knew that I was going to be locked onto my chair for many days and many hours. And I just figured, when I am typically doing these kind of jobs, I'm normally listening to good music that I dig, and I'm normally feeling very good about myself as well. So I just figured, hey, let's just make it a party. Why not? And what have I got to lose? And that's exactly what I did. While I was working off my phone screen, I was working on my laptop, but my actual phone screen was live on TikTok. In the background, my set had basically my bookshelf, and I was thinking, hey, if people come through and they ask about the bookshelf, there's a good chance that they might be interested in business. And if so, they might be a potential client or new network partner. At the same time, I was wearing those cool sunglasses that you guys, if you've been following on my WhatsApp, you've been seeing me hinting towards them, but I still haven't told you anything about them just yet. So I was wearing that, and that caught people's attention. And I just did a lot of different things to hook people's attention while at the same time having a productive workday. And in the beginning, a lot of people looked, but they didn't stay. And that's okay, because that's exactly what's going to happen when you start a new business endeavor or a new creative project. So basically, I was just right on track. But if you didn't know that for yourself, that's the natural sequence of things when you start something new. People enjoy just looking, but they'll hardly interact. But then let's fast forward a couple of days. Now that I'm showing consistency, I'm showing up at the same time with the same kind of fun vibe, the same atmosphere, and now we have some regulars coming through and beginning to comment. And let me tell you guys, when people are commenting and or liking, you're doing something good. Because watch this motion. That's how fast you have to hook somebody's attention on a TikTok kind of scroll environment. So if people are willing to not only stay, but also stay for a long time, and then even use their thumbs to start typing, that's when you know that you got something good. But don't lose it. Don't mess it up. The one thing that I did that worked incredibly well was, I think, number one, that I literally had nothing to sell. I didn't have anything to sell. But all I did have was a whole bunch of stuff, and if people were willing to ask questions, I gave them my opinion. And at the same time, I gave a huge amount of gratitude, because you have to have gratitude. People are willing to take up minutes, many minutes, half an hour. I had some people stick around for 2 hours, sometimes the whole 3-hour duration at a time. You have to give gratitude and appreciation because they are willing to take their time to be with you and to explore the cool little environment that you've created for a new community. So make sure you give gratitude in abundance, friends, because these people could have been anywhere, but they decided to stick around with you and with your business. So I thought that was really cool. And that's how I continued this process of these TikTok lives over a good couple of days. Then I encountered my first community business problem or TikTok live problem. A lot of people wanted to know if I was going live every single day, and I didn't communicate to them exactly the days that I'd be showing up. So people would message me and say, hey man, I'm waiting. Where are you? Why aren't you going live? And then I'd have to say, oh wait, hang on. Nobody knows what I'm going to be doing from a day-to-day basis. So let me fine-tune my communication so they know exactly when I'm showing up and when I'm not. And that was a fantastic learning curve. So be sure to listen to your audience, friends. Stick with your guns and stick with the stuff and the vision that you want to create, but also let your audience guide you to that creation. Next, I wanted to show even more appreciation. So now we're probably about 2.5, 3 weeks into my live stream journey. Keep in mind that I was doing live streams almost 5 to 6 days a week for about a 3 to 4 hour basis. I wanted to show even more appreciation to the regulars. And so I came up with an idea. I was still working, still doing my video editing related projects or different related projects. But I said to myself, what can I do to show appreciation? And that's when I came up with this cool creative idea that I called the Wall of Legends. Basically, all the regulars, all the people that kept coming back, I wanted to show appreciation to them by drawing a pencil sketch of their TikTok profile and putting it in the background on a wall, so to speak, of people that just said, man, I thank you guys so much. So let me show you what that looked like. This is the official Wall of Legends. Can you guys see it? Sorry, it's a bit of a struggle for me to angle the camera like this. But these are the people that I managed to draw. There were a couple of other people that were in the running for it. And it's very cool because as soon as I started this idea, a whole bunch of people got very excited because they wanted to be a part of the club. They wanted to be in the inner circle. But then they also asked the same question, how do I get in? And that led me to have to now figure out what are the rules and the criteria of this cool little me drawing their picture. So there were a lot of people that were in the running for it. And that was very cool. Now, why do I say in the running and not are currently in the running? And that's what I'm going to tell you. That's where I slipped up in this particular business idea. Because I realized two big things now that I was about 2.5 weeks into this TikTok journey. The first is that when I initially pressed the button to go live, I just did it because it was an experiment. I was just jumping in the deep end. But now that I was a little bit more knowledgeable, I found out that I was going live to literally all ages. And so I was immediately bringing in an age group of around 16. So in other words, there were not adults. There were a couple of adults, but the majority were still youngsters in school. So in other words, genuinely cool, fantastic people, but also not my target audience. Even if I did one day say, hey, I'm starting to sell this thing. And even if it was the best thing ever, each and every one of them would not be able to buy simply because they're not working yet or they're not earning enough. You know, they're just kids at the end of the day. You can't blame them. And at the same time, I realized that now that I was growing a community of kids that were sharing my live stream to the other people that they knew, which were kids, I now had an ever increasing list of amazing people. And I'm not gonna understate that. Genuinely amazing humans that wanted to be on this list. And it was taking time away from my computer and the work that I actually needed to get done. So there's a lesson there, friends. Make sure to pivot. If you know that work needs to be done and a community that you're busy building is completely different from the community that you know are your target audience, you do unfortunately have to make some tough calls and pivot away. And so that's what I did very recently. I made an announcement on my TikTok audience and I said, hey, this is the news. This is where it's going. And for the next couple of live streams, it's going to be only for 18 and upwards. Because I'd also learned the back end of the TikTok live ecosystem at this point. So I found a button that I could press to make sure that only adults were joining the live stream. And that's the thing with business, friends. You have to make sure that you are constantly staying in focus, in line with creating your audience and the audience that will ultimately buy your product. Still give a ton of gratitude for everybody who's with you along the journey. Because just because they're youngsters doesn't mean that they won't become fantastic clients and fantastic partners as they begin to grow up. But at this stage of their journey, they're just not there yet. And also by redefining how I'm going to be doing the TikTok lives, it allows me to be more focused on my computer, less away from the creative side of things, drawing these pictures. Ultimately creating more value, and also ultimately beginning to grow a community of adults. So that's been my journey so far. This has been an awesome creative project. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, but at the same time, this project has come to an end. So the Wall of Legends is no more. It's very unfortunate. And to everybody, and there's a whole bunch of people who have been really wanting to get their picture on the wall. And to be honest, I would love to put it on the wall. And they know who they are if they are watching this, and they deserve to be on that wall too. But also, I have to, at the end of the day, play the business game. And I have to make sure that I'm doing my game to the best of my ability. So that was a little bit sad to admit, but that's the truth. Some cool projects are cool and creative, but also need to be stopped because ultimately they take you away from your business goals, building up your bank account so that you can live life on an even better and higher standard, so that you can then serve your clients on a bigger and better and higher standard. So I think the way that I'm going to leave off this video is just go back and look at the stats back on the newsletter in that picture there. That's what I was able to accomplish with close to 30 live streams, varying in 3 to 4 hours. That's what I was able to do with just a basic setup, just being free to be me and being free to answer the questions that I was willing to answer. If I can do that, you can do it too. If you are ready and confident enough to go on camera. So take that leap, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to come into your space. And like my coach, JT Fox, always says, I've got this drummed into my head at this point. It only takes one person, one deal, and one opportunity to change your life and your business forever. And here's another thing that maybe I've heard from somewhere, but it's definitely something that I enjoy saying to myself as well. You only need to become rich once. And you don't know, and that's the saying, but it's true. You only need to become rich once. And you don't know who might come into your live stream and might want to partner up with you and be that extra person that has a whole bunch of skills that you don't have, but you guys working together could create something huge. So that's been my TikTok journey, friends. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I hope that it's given you some value of what to do and what not to do when starting a new TikTok live community or going live yourself. Stay focused on your mission, build an awesome community, and if you ever decide to do a live stream yourself and build your own community, please message me and let me know how it's going. All the best. And again, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you. Alrighty, go check out all the goodies. Just a reminder, check out all the goodies on my newsletter and don't forget to subscribe. Take care.